A very good afternoon, dear students, and all my tigers and tigresses. So here CC is coming. This will be the second term CC. I'll make two parts of the question. First part, there will be some passage, and in the next part, part B or section B, there will be some direct questions and answers. Direct questions will be asked and you will have to write the answers without any reference to the context. Okay, first part, reference to the context. Second part, direct questions. Okay, that's how I'm going to make it. So for you, the topic that we will discuss again today, we will revise the topic. It is, just a second, let me check the content, and it is today I wrote this poem. Yes, that poem we will discuss first and then we will come to the next. It is in page 25. So this poem tells us about a little boy or girl just like you are, and the poem is telling the boy and girl is eager to write a poem because he or she has learnt it in the class from his or her teachers that there are poems are beautiful. There are certain things which we call literary figures. Those are associated with the poems, and these are the things that decorates a poem beautifully. Because of these usage, poem becomes more presentable. Now, after hearing all these things, this boy or girl has decided to write a poem, and once it is in your mind, I know you will definitely try to put it a try. So this boy or girl is trying to write a poem, and how to judge whether whatever he or she has written is correct or is it a poem or not. In order to discuss it, the boy or girl has taken the manuscript to her or his teacher, and now the teacher is elated to have received such a beautiful writing, such a beautiful attempt of his or her student, and the teacher has given a jubilant number, I should say, that is a plus 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 an infinite plus. Means the teacher is very much elated and satisfied that he or she could influence a student to compose a poem by her teaching. It is her or his teaching that might have, and surely that had influenced the boy or girl to write the poem, because probably the way the teacher taught it, it was so appealing to the student. So the boy or girl has written it, showed it to the teacher. Teacher has given excellent grade. But still the boy or girl who has written it is telling that it is really difficult for me to say whether I really deserve the grade which my teacher has put, because my poetry doesn't include all those figures and literary devices which I learned from the teacher. Not a single one can be found there, except it is my, I should say, genuine attempt. It is my 24 karat love for literature that has influenced me to give it a try, and I have tried it. And that is the very reason the teacher has given the student such a beautiful grade, because of that 24 karat honest attempt. That is the particular reason. So let's read what is told here. Today I wrote this poem, but I'm not sure if it's good. It doesn't have the things my teacher says a poem should. So I told you that the boy or girl who has composed the poem is not sure whether it can be called a poem, because the thing which he or she has written doesn't include all those things which a poem should have. And these are the things which he or she learned from the teacher. It doesn't share the feelings I have deep inside of me. It hasn't any metaphors and not one simile. See, it doesn't share the feelings I have deep inside of me. It hasn't any metaphors and not one simile. Which means there are two devices which are mentioned here. One is metaphor, another is simile. So, metaphor and simile, both of these are used for comparison. If the comparison is explicit, your cheeks are like a rose or as red as a rose, then it becomes a simile. Explicit comparison in between two opposite ideas or object. Rose is something different and your cheeks, they are different, but I am making a comparison and I am making the comparison explicit. I am directly telling that I am comparing the blush, the redness of your cheek with the redness of a red rose. But if I tell the same thing in a way that there are roses in your cheeks, which means I am making the same comparison, but it is in an implicit way. I am not making it in explicit. Out of nothing, I am just telling you that there are roses on your cheeks, which means again it is the redness, the crimson color, which is there on your cheeks, and that is why I am making the comparison with the red petals of a rose. So, in these two instances, what I am trying to do is to make a comparison, to tell the same thing in a different way, in a more presentable way, more pleasant way. That is the reason these devices are used here. It's missing any narrative. One more thing the boy or girl has said, that whatever I intend to write, whatever the feelings that were brimming inside me, I could not give words to them, because my poem doesn't include all those feelings. I could not find suitable words, suitable figures, suitable devices to express all that I can feel. In the third stanza it is said that it's missing any narrative is a technique where you are describing something as it is. Alliteration, repetition of consonant sound, pleasurable pain. Okay. Repetition of consonant sound in the beginning of the word. Initials of side by side words, the initial letter is the consonant and it is the same consonant. Only then we can call it an alliteration. If the sound is a vowel and it is repeating continuously, that is called assonance. In case of consonant, it is called alliteration. When the consonant sound occurs in the beginning, the initial letter should be written in consonant, the same consonant sound. But if the middle of the word there is a consonant and next few words in their middle there is the same kind of consonant sound, then you can call it consonance. But that consonant sound is coming in the initial, is done by the initial letter of the word, then it will be alliteration. So this is a technique to make your writing more lyrical, more penetrating, more appealing to the ears of the readers and the listeners. So this boy or girl is telling that my poetry, there are no such thing. It isn't an acrostic kind of poem written. This is the type of poem which is written there, and the first letter of the poem, the several lines are there like my fingers. There are several lines, and the first letter of each line will make a word, a meaningful word. That will be the main theme of the poem. This type of presentation is called acrostic. Diamante. Diamante is another poem. It is 7 lines each, and in each lines there is the text form shape a diamond. Means you are writing it in a way that this is the presentation style. Okay, this is your calligraphy that will make the diamante like that. Or haiku. Haiku is another Japanese tradition of poetry, and it is generally consisted of 3 lines and usually of 17 syllables. All these examples I had sent you with the notes. I think once you open the note, you can find out uh, how these poems are written. There's nothing that's personified. I have not personified anyone. Means I have not presented any object of nature in a way as if it is a living being. That is called personification. The thing that is not a person, you are making it person. So there is no such example also. It doesn't have a plot. Every single poetry, there must be a theme which I lack here. Whatever came in my mind, I have written it. I just gave words to my feeling. Though I could not give words to all my feelings, there are some feelings left which I could not express. And those feelings which I could express, there I could not instill any kind of literary device which are generally found in a poem. Even if you look it from close quarter, there is no such particular theme also. And I think it doesn't have a plot. I'm pretty sure that rhyming is the only thing it's got. So what my poetry contains, what my poem contains, it is a rhythm and rhyme. That is the only thing the boy or girl, the poem that the boy or girl has written contains. What is it? That is the rhyme pattern. It's rhyming. There are rhythm in the poem. Otherwise, no such literary devices or any kind of presentation style cannot be noticed in the poem. It sure was fun to write it, yes. The person who wrote the poem, maybe that person is a little boy or girl, but he or she found it really funny. Means the creator enjoyed his creation. Without your satisfaction, no creation can be presentable. I'm telling you, if you are not satisfied, nothing is complete. Once you are satisfied and once you are finding and extracting joy from your creation, right then creation becomes seamless, continuous. So I think it's long enough. And the thing I have written, it is too much long, lengthy, verbose it is called. It's just too bad it's missing all the great poetic stuff. So those great poetic stuffs about which I had heard from my teacher in the school or in a class, and when I tried to emulate the things which she or he said, I was a failure. I could not do it. My poetry is too much lengthy. Even after that, it could not express all the thoughts which are there buried in my heart. I could not introduce or I could not use any kind of beautiful literary devices about which I had learned in books, in the poem which is written in my book, in the poem which was discussed by my teacher. And my teacher has discussed all the figures which were embedded in the poetry, which are embedded with the lines. I forgot to do it. And I could not do it. It is not I forgot, I could not do it. I could not instill those things in my poem. But still, one thing for sure, that I thoroughly enjoyed the process of giving birth to that poem, that piece of literature. That is the crucial thing which is given and written here. I put it on my teacher's desk and whoa, she made a fuss. She handed back my poem with an A+++. So the teacher, in a hurry, he or she read the whole poem, went through the whole poem, and right at the end he gave A+++. Means it was the very satisfaction of the teacher who successfully influenced his or her pupil to do the thing about which he or she was delivering lectures. Unless the thing I am telling you to do, unless you do it, there is no satisfaction for me as a teacher. Once you start following my dictates, right then there is infinite joy that is waiting for a teacher, and that I always feel whenever I see you do the same thing, and of course the correct thing, not the same thing, the correct thing, which is beneficial for you, and probably which I might have advised. If I see that my advice is working for you, it will not suffice if you only follow my dictates. It must be effective for you. Whatever the advice which I am going to share with you must have some efficacy. Once my advices works in you nicely, appropriately, effectively, and I see development in you, right then the kind of joy we as a teacher we feel, we cannot relate it in words. Once you become a teacher, you will also find and experience such a beautiful phenomena. I'm sure that you will, because all of you are good teachers as far as I know. In the class I have sensed it. All of you can teach us, and I had learned so many things from you. So that's how the poem ends, with a positive note, that though the boy or girl who has composed the poem is a little bit down, it is the job of the teachers to lift you from your disappointment, to kindle interest in you, and then you will learn everything yourself without anyone's help. So our job is to start the machine. It will automatically go. That's all for today, students. I hope you are very fine. We will revise the whole thing, the syllabus, by and by. That's all for today, students. Tata.